Let's get rolling on a Tuesday. Glasses in session. We go to the Glasser guest line. Check in with Peter Appel, who joins us. Give Peter a follow on X at PeterAppel23, co-founder of Just Baseball. And Peter, let's talk about one of the better stories so far in baseball, and that's the Detroit Tigers, right? We saw what they did last couple months of the season last year. They beat the Astros in the postseason, get to the ALDS, and they have taken all that momentum into this season. Scooble's still a monster. Their pitching staff's been great. But this team has the most wins right now in all of baseball. When you watch the Tigers play, do you think they're good enough to win the World Series as currently constructed? Or do you feel like this team needs to make some serious moves at the deadline for you to get invested in them to win it all?
Winning it all is tough because there are so many good teams in the National League. And if they were to win the American League, they would clearly be big underdogs to a lot of these teams in the National League. But when I look at the current Tigers, I don't think that they have to make any major additions in order to make the World Series. Because why were the Tigers good in the playoffs last year, right? It was a lot of pitching chaos. It was Tarek Skubal, and then they had some magic, even though they didn't really have much of a second starter, third starter, or fourth starter. And they really only had two big-time offensive weapons in Riley Green and then in Kerry Carpenter. But this year, Spencer Torkelson has stepped up in order to be that third key cog in their lineup. Javier Baez has also been playing a little bit better, but Zach McKinstry, they have a couple of other young hitters like Colt Keith coming up the pipeline. So the offense is better than it was last year. And the starting pitching, it's not necessarily pitching chaos anymore. They can go three deep in that rotation at least, with the potential, of course, of Jackson Jobe continuing to make these improvements as a young rookie starter. Casey Mize has really taken the mantle as the number two. I know Reese Olson is hurt right now, but he's really solid, and when he returns, he's going to continue to improve as well. So the Tigers' issues last year in the postseason that weren't able to help them elevate to the World Series was they didn't really have much behind Skubal, and their offense packed another punch. They have all of that this year, so they have the recipe in order to get to the World Series. So if I'm betting on the Tigers, I'm more looking at American League pennant rather than World Series. Of course, you're going to get a better price on the World Series, but I think the best way to play the Tigers is to shoot for that American League pennant. And while, the value isn't quite there because, of course, they lead the American League in wins, they lead the American League in wins for a reason, and not everyone is fully bought in yet, so I think there's still a smidge of value you can go get.
Plus 375 right now on BetMGM if you want to bet the Tigers to win the American League. Peter, you're rocking the Seattle Mariners hat today. I want to talk about them in the AL West, right? Because for the last couple of years, it's been these three teams. It's been the Mariners, the Astros, and the Rangers. Here we are. We find ourselves as we're approaching June. Seattle on top of the division. Do you finally think that this is the year where the Mariners get over the hump and they win the AL West, or do you still think there's value on Houston and Texas, who are going to get some guys back in their lineup and get healthy here soon?
Funny enough, in the middle part of April, I bet on the Mariners at 3-1 to win the division. So I definitely obviously see value, and now I am fully invested in the Seattle Mariners. It's not just the hat that I got at the All-Star game a few years ago. The reason I bet on the Seattle Mariners is this isn't the Seattle Mariners of old. And what do I mean by that? Pitching centric, right? We see the Kansas City Royals right now kind of struggling, even though they're top 5 in rotation ERA, top 10 in bullpen ERA. Why? You need a good offense. And that's what kind of always capped the Mariners. We all remember how good their pitching staff is, how good their bullpen is, but it was just basically the Julio Rodriguez show and a team waiting for Cal Raleigh to hit a home run. Not this year. The Mariners' offense has scored more runs than any team in their division. It does seem also like a more cohesive offense, right? You got Jorge Polanco, you got Randy Rosarena hitting much better. And, what's to stop them from making small moves at the deadline? I don't expect them to add major pieces, but what I do like is how much better the offense has been. And then they still have this rotation, and they're still atop the American League West, even though there is no Logan Gilbert right now. There is no Bryce Miller right now, but there will be. George Kirby just returned back from the IL, and the bullpen with Andres Munoz, Matt Brash returning healthy looks better than ever. So they still have that elite pitching, although all of it is not there right now, and the offense is finally here. And that's why I felt let's invest in the Mariners this season, as I still think that the Rangers are quite honestly, the most overrated team in Major League Baseball. And the Astros, I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do at the deadline. Already gave up Kyle Tucker, let Alex Bregman walk. I don't necessarily think they're going to be big-time buyers per se this trade deadline season. So that just kind of takes me over to Seattle as the best team in this division, and I model them out right now at about a 56% chance to win it, and you can still get even money. There's still a little bit left more on that bone, even though they are the favorites.
Yeah, trying to win the division for the first time in 25 years. We're talking with Peter Appel here on Send It In. Give Peter a follow on X at PeterAppel23. Peter, over to the NL East now, which much like the AL West, looks like it's going to be a three-horse race between the Phillies, the Mets, and the Braves. Break down this division for me right now. Philadelphia, right as it stands, is the team to beat. Do you like the Phillies, or would you look at New York or Atlanta in that division?
It's so funny. So I was just applauding myself for the Mariners bet, right? Getting a lot of line movement on that one. I took the Braves at the beginning of the season to win this division, and that hasn't exactly worked out for me. Now, them getting back Acuna, Strider pitches today. You could see them building momentum right after they started 0-7. They have been one of the better teams in Major League Baseball. So if I were to invest in this division between the Mets and the Braves, I would still go with the Braves because, again, I think there is still more value there than there would be attaching yourself to the New York Mets with a rotation that has been awesome to start. But there still are questions with a lot of them. Can they complete the full season? Right? I wasn't worried about them to start, but how will they look at the end? Right? That's kind of my issue here with the New York Mets, even though I think they're a great team and they're going to make the playoffs. But I think the answer is Philly. I mean, what's Philly's only weakness? It's their bullpen. What's the easiest position to address at the deadline? Bullpen. What does Dave Dombrowski, the Phillies GM, do every single deadline? Add elite bullpen arms, and they have a great system to do it. And they also have Mick Abel and Andrew Painter, who, if they don't have a spot in their rotation, because the rotation is so good, they could potentially put those two young elite rookie arms in that bullpen to elongate it a little bit. So I think Philly is the team to beat. But if you are betting on a team to win this division, I'm still going to hold strong on my preseason prediction that the Braves have a pretty good shot of upsetting both of them.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I want to get into some player markets with you, and I want to start with NL MVP real quick. We were just talking about the NL East. Ronald Acuna is back, as you mentioned. The guy hit a home run in each of his first two games. He's 80-1. Peter, would you take a flyer on Acuna at that price, or do you just think that, it's just him being back healthy is a win, but he's got no chance of winning the award?
I have a hard time believing he has a chance to win the award because think about it like this, right? It's May 27th. He's been back here for a few games. Is he going to hit 30 home runs and steal 30 bases the rest of the way? That would put him on pace for normally a 40-40 type season. But does 30-30 win it when Corbin Carroll's going to do that? When Kyle Tucker's probably going to do that, and Shohei Ohtani is probably going to blow that all out of the water, and he's already stepping foot back on the mound, and he was getting tracked his velocity, at least on his four-seam fastball, 95 to 96 miles an hour. So I think the way Acuna wins this award, I'm not really sure how, but it would be that he and the Braves go on this insane streak, and it's all because of him, and he vaults them up. But if the Braves go on an insane streak, that means other guys are coming to play as well. So with Acuna, I love the idea of it at 80-1, right? It sounds great because he truly is one of the best players in our game, but it's just hard for me to look away from Ohtani right now. I know it's boring. I know it's chalk, but if he has the best offensive numbers and then he pitches also, it's going to be a wrap again. So it's hard for me to get away from Ohtani.
One of the big talking points right now, Peter, in baseball, especially in betting and in futures, is AL Rookie of the Year and what to do with Jack Caglione right now with the Royals. He's currently 30-1. We see the videos every day of him hitting a home run in the minors, and yet the Royals haven't called him up. So when you look at this market, Jacob Wilson's been terrific for the A's so far this season. Are you still waiting with Cags? Do you think 30-1 is a good price? Do you think we could get something even bigger? How would you look at AL Rookie of the Year and him specifically?
Well, here's the thing with Jack Caglione. He should be called up yesterday, right? The Royals need a corner outfielder, and they need some power into this lineup. but I think there's a reason that the Royals don't really want to bring Jack Caglione up yet. It has to do with service time. If he wins the Rookie of the Year, they might lose a draft pick. All this stuff that, has to do with the business of baseball, which is why we see some of the best prospects continue to be held down, right? Roman Anthony hasn't been called up yet, even though he is the best overall prospect in baseball, and the Red Sox could certainly use a boost. So when I look at Jack Caglione's market, I see a guy who is only striking out at 14% rate in AAA so far. He's hitting over 330. He's already got 5 home runs. Seems like he hits one 450 feet every single time I go on social media. I would love to invest in him. I think he's a fantastic player. I don't think he's going to get called up soon enough in order to win the award, and especially take it away from a guy like Jacob Wilson, who's already racked up 2.5 WAR, right? That is 0.7 more than any other rookie in Major League Baseball. He's hitting 350. So it's just hard for Cags to make up that type of ground, especially with a pitcher. Luis Gil just won it last year for the Yankees. Will Warren could do it this year. His strikeout stuff has ticked up majorly. He's got a spot in this rotation, as well as Jason Dominguez, who's playing good baseball as well. So those 3 guys I would ID over Cags, even though I love the allure of what he could do when he gets called up. Just worried about when he gets called up. That would be the problem.
Yeah, Wilson minus 200 right now at BetMGM, and the 2 Yankees that you spoke of, Dominguez plus 500, Will Warren at 14-1. Always great talking baseball with Peter Appel. Make sure you guys are following him on X at PeterAppel23. Co-founder of Just Baseball joins us here on Send It In. Peter, always appreciate the insight, man. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much for having me, PJ. I appreciate it, my man.
You're welcome, dude. Always a great time.